I could fail within the first like 2 weeks. Why are you sailing nonstop instead of stopping and seeing parts of the world? I'd call for help after the boat has submerged in water. I thought quitting my job was impossible. That would really be a doozy to run out of toilet paper. With World War III looming and an impending oil crisis, are you prepared to pivot plans? I'm nervous about that as well. I want to just prove myself wrong in the most extreme way possible. The infamous question, why didn't you buy a boat that was already set up for circumnavigation instead of having to do such a big refit? And I'll try and be as vulnerable and honest as I possibly can. Testing. Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to the greatest, worst YouTube channel of all time. Today we're changing it up because all I've been doing is boat projects, and I think there's some viewership fatigue around the boat projects, and also my own fatigue. But make no mistake, I'm still doing boat projects 7 days a week, every day, 10 hours a day. And but I wanted to change it up and do like a Q&A, because I get a lot of questions all the time, and a lot of them are repetitive questions too. So some of the questions that I've got, I put out a Q&A on my social medias, and so I'm going to do a Q&A, and some of the questions that I got are kind of repetitive, so they've been combined into one question. But hopefully, I haven't actually, so my brother sent over the Q&A to me, the collection of questions. I haven't actually looked at the questions, so I'll be looking at it for the first time and responding to it, and I'll try and be as vulnerable and honest as I possibly can in responding to these questions. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I am nervous. Yeah, so I think we'll just jump into it, and I'll answer some questions. I've got it on my phone here, so I'm gonna have to read it. Question number 1: which area are you the most nervous about on the journey? I don't know. Probably the Southern and Indian Oceans. I think those two oceans are kind of notorious. I'm also really nervous about, because on the last stretch, on the way back, I have to cross the Pacific Ocean, the entirety of the Pacific Ocean, and the entirety of that crossing is into wind. And into the wind and the waves is really hard on a boat. And if I make it that far, that will be the last stretch of the journey, and the boat will be in a vulnerable state. It'll be beat up. I'll be beat up. And so I'm actually pretty nervous about that as well, because that would really suck to get through everything and then have massive equipment failure coming back. And that will be really hard on the boat. So I'm nervous about that as well. But that's just the way the route kind of is. Question 2, how worried are you about emergencies at sea? Do you lie awake at night with worry? I don't lie. Yeah, I think about it all of the time. The potential things that can happen and what I would do. It is something I think about constantly. In everything I do on this boat, when I'm doing this refit, I think about that. Like if this thing I'm installing or whatever were to fail, what do I do? What's the plan? So I think about all of it, and I don't, not in an unhealthy way though. I don't just sit there worrying about it, and I'm not just like anxiety riddled laying up at night, but I think about it all the time. And I play, like I run scenarios in my head all the time. What would I do if this specific thing happened? What do I have in place to solve that issue? And so yeah, I think about it a lot, and pretty much every move I make on this refit is with that in mind. It was a good question. How are you preparing for the worst case scenario? There's 50 of these questions, by the way. We're gonna go through 50. How are you preparing for the worst case scenarios? In what situation would you turn towards land or call for help? How am I preparing for the worst case scenarios? Is kind of everything I've done on this boat, I'm doing on this boat, is with a redundancy in mind, because the key is everything will break, and the key is to have a solution for every problem. There are a few things that can absolutely end the journey. One of which being like and I guess the other end of that question is, what would I do if, what was the question? What situation would you turn towards land or call for help? I'd call for help after the boat has submerged in water. Once I'm stepping into my life raft, as I'm watching the top of the boat disappear, is right around the time I'll call for help. Because even if I start taking on water, I start thinking there's solutions to all of the problems, and it usually takes a bit of time for a boat to sink. There's so many things and variables that can happen, but depending on what the issue is, I'm gonna try to not sink. If I'm seriously sinking, definitely going to call for help. If something really bad happens to me, if I get really injured for some reason, like from the boom or something, and I can't continue because of an injury, I would call for help. And then, or if I get really sick from some, things happen. I would say my biggest fear is getting like kidney stones or something. That would freaking suck. That would absolutely suck. The most likely cause of failure will be because of massive mechanical failure on the boat. So like the mast coming down. If something like that were to happen, I would then have to try and jimmy rig with whisker pulls a new mast and sails. And then at that point, obviously I'm not going to continue on. At that point, the goal is to save the boat and go to the closest port possible. So it's massive failures is when I would throw in the towel, or physical failures, I guess, are the scenario. And I'm not opposed to like failing. I have to go into this with the preparedness to I'm going to do everything I possibly can to not fail, but I have to be prepared to fail. 4, how long is the journey? When do you leave? Probably about 8 months, give or take a month, basically. The plan is to leave between September and October. That is the window I have to leave. So my goal is to have the boat and be basically completely I'll probably start a countdown once I'm 130 days out from like September 15th. I'll start a countdown, because I started a countdown at 130 days out when I sailed to Hawaii. So I just feel like it's fitting to start it at the same 130 days. But yeah, between September and October. And exactly when I leave depends on what the immediate weather conditions are on the West Coast, essentially. If there's, massive hurricane, September the 20th, obviously I have to wait for that to pass. Question 5, what does your specific route look like? And I've got it written down because I can't remember it. So I'll read my specific route. So starting from Port Townsend, possibly. It's undetermined yet where I start from, but somewhere on the West Coast. I think Port Townsend would be cool. I think Oregon would be coolest, but I don't really particularly feel like going to the bar. But I think that would be the coolest. And then I think the most logical option would be leaving from California. But most likely I'll just leave from Port Townsend for I don't know. So starting from Port Townsend, in the North Pacific, going to the South Pacific, then going underneath South America and around Cape Horn, then through the Atlantic, and then underneath South Africa and the Cape of Good Hope, then through the southern Indian Ocean, and then underneath Australia, and then underneath New Zealand. And then I start going north through the Pacific and ending where I started in Port Townsend, and it should be around 30,000 miles in total. And there was a video about this that I did with Jerome. I haven't memorized the route yet, so, but there's a video about it. Feel free to check that out. Number 6, why are you sailing nonstop instead of stopping and seeing parts of the world? It's just a different thing, and I want to see if I can do it. My cat's using the litter box right now. That's where you hear the scratching. You might not hear it, but yeah, it's something I want to see. I want to see. I have the means to do it, and I want to see if I can do it. And it's something bit me at some point to where I knew that if I didn't try to do this, it would eat me for the rest of my life. So I finally made the decision I've got the means to do it, so I have to try. And so I'm going to try. And it's just a different thing. Like once I've sailed around the world, I'm not going to stop sailing. So I'll do it again, but at but sorry. I'll do it again. I can't. I'm gonna have to wait for my cat to stop scratching because I can't think. All right, sorry about that. Let's try this again. Why are you sailing nonstop instead of seeing parts of the world? It's just a different thing. And I plan on, after I do it, sailing around the world again, but with stops. And like, I like to sail. I think I like to. I just like to sail, too. And it's. I want to see if I can do it. I thought, like quitting my job was impossible. I didn't think it was. I like thought it was impossible quitting my career. I didn't. You got to think. I was high up in the company, and I didn't have any. I started working directly out of high school at that company, and that I didn't have any. That's all I had known for my entire adult life was that working for that job, and so like I didn't. What would have happened if I had quit that job, gotten another job? I would have gotten a low paying job, got no college education, and I would have had to work my way back up, and then I would be in the same boat that I was in before, and just miserable and working at just a job that I didn't like, working crazy hours. I thought quitting my job was impossible, and then I thought trying to buy a sailboat was impossible, and then I thought teaching myself how to sail was impossible, and then I thought working on a boat and doing a refit on a boat to cross an ocean was impossible. And then I thought crossing an ocean was impossible. I thought going viral on social media was impossible. And now I'm starting to believe that I want to just prove myself wrong in the most extreme way possible. And that's a part of it, because sailing around the world without stopping is like one of the most impossible things I could possibly do. And I just want to prove myself wrong in an extreme way, that it is possible. And I anything if you I think I'm starting to believe now. It's cliche or whatever, but I'm starting to believe that anything is possible if you put your mind to it, and if you give it absolutely everything, you do have a really good chance of doing some crazy stuff. So that's a part of the reason there. When I'm content, I kind of just get like unmotivated and kind of not really depressed, but kind of like depressed. And I need a big goal, I think, to be. I enjoy the chasing something huge. I enjoy the grind. It's miserable a lot of the times, but I enjoy it. I enjoy making myself proud and working really hard towards something as well. Not that sailing around the world and stopping isn't hard. I mean, it's definitely not easy. But I don't know. I don't know if that answers the question, but I just I want to see if I can do it. I should be the last person on Earth to be able to pull something like that off. So I'm just gonna give it a try. Number 7. What part of the world are you excited to visit? Obviously, I'm doing a nonstop, so I'm not stopping anywhere. But after I sail around the world, I do have a Portuguese passport, so that means I can stay in I can't remember what it's like 250 countries in Europe. And the hard part about sailing around the world with stops is visas, and then timing things with the visas running out, and then all of a sudden it's hurricane season, but you have to leave this country and there's a massive hurricane coming and all that stuff. Like I'm excited to sail to Europe and just stay in I don't know, wherever, Italy for as long as I want for a year, and leave on my, because I can with the passport, and just stay for a year at a country and then go to a different one. Sail to a different one. I'm excited to go to Europe because I think that would be really nice. Number 8, how close to finished is your boat's refit? It's hard to really say, but I think I'm probably realistically about a month out from today's date. From finishing up with the refit. It's hard to. There's the problem I'm running into is just delays. Things are getting delayed on, having the Dodger built, getting the tower put on. The issue I found with my rudder, just delays, and I'm sure there's going to be delays putting the mast on for some reason. It's just the way it goes. I knew my initial goal was 5 months to be done with the refit. I'm going to go a little bit over that, but that was expected, because when you do a refit on a boat, it does not go according to plan, and that's just the way it is. So I've just got to react around the reality that it is, and just keep doing the things until it's done. And then, but like as far as working on the boat, I will be working on the boat until the day that I leave. Because as soon as I start doing sea trials, things are going to break. I'm going to fix things. I'm going to change things. Things are going to get adjusted. Things are going to come off. Things are going to go on. It's going to be constant working on the boat until the day that I leave. Are you on schedule for your planned departure? Too early to tell, really. I won't know. I mean, yeah, I am. I've got time. The goal, though, is to have this refit done as quickly as possible so that I can have a good amount of time to test everything and fix everything and make everything the way I want it by the time that I leave. So that is, in regards to that, I'm a little bit behind. But as far as actually leaving on my departure date, yeah, I've got time. Number 10, is there a part about prep refit you're dreading or anxious about the most? The only thing I dread is unforeseens. It's the unforeseens that are the hardest things to do because you don't see it, and they're usually like the most work. So, but nothing, there's been a couple unforeseens like the mast step, but that could have been a lot worse than what it was. But so that was fine, but nothing really unforeseen has happened. So, and there's nothing that it's all hard, really. So whatever's next, I just do it. And then eventually I finish. 11. After all the hard work you've been putting into this, do you wish you would have done things differently? Yeah, I've made some mistakes. I've made 2 pretty big mistakes, which I didn't want to say any of this before sailing around the world because I know people are going to be, say their things and stuff, and sometimes it's irritating. But it is what it is. I've made mistakes, and I'm just going to own it. One mistake was being if I could do something different, the tower. Had the tower built way overbuilt. Like it's a strong tower. There's no doubt about it. The problem with that is, and I've tried to do things to make it so the problem with the backstay kind of goes through the tower, and the backstay is what holds the mast. That wire that goes to the top of the mast, that essentially is what holds the mast up. Without the backstay, the mast comes down. And so in the event, my goal has been to make this boat capable of surviving a roll, assuming I'm going to roll the boat. I'm not going to roll the boat, but I try and assume that the boat's going to roll with everything I do. And as soon as I put that tower on, originally the tower is designed for the backstay to go directly through the tower. I had them modify it so there's a V cut out so the backstay has a chance, because like you can imagine if the boat is going to roll, it's probably because I'm going too fast down a wave. The boat goes sideways and then rolls, and so in that scenario, the tower anything can happen, but the tower should come off backwards, and clearing away from the backstay, and meaning hopefully the mast stays on. Who knows what's going to happen. But what I should have done with the tower is made the tower as, because right now the way it's so overbuilt that if I roll the boat, the tower is going to stay on. The problem is it's going to be a mangled mess. And that will be a big problem, and it will probably take the backstay out with it. What I should have done is made and I need the tower for the solar panels, because you could argue, why do you even have the tower? I need it for the solar panels. And I plan on, documenting and live streaming and filming everything real time. And Starlink takes up a lot of power. So, but what I should have done is made the tower so that if the boat rolled, the tower would easily be detached. It would just fly off. It's probably what I should have done. I shouldn't have had it so overbuilt. But, and that was an expensive mistake, but I'm not going to roll. And as long as I don't roll, I've got a sweet beefed up tower. And then also the hard dodger that I'm getting put on. It's not like really a hard dodger. It's the top of the dodger's hard, and it's reinforced. It's stronger than the one I have now. It's technically not a hard dodger, but I mean, yeah. So what I should have done with the dodger is I should have had something built here at Port Townsend, like an encapsulated fiberglass dodger that is like fiberglass to the boat or something, so that if I do roll or I take a huge wave, it just stays up, because it will be just stainless steel tubing essentially. So if the boat rolls, the dodger will also become a mangled mess. So two pretty big mistakes there, and if I could go back in time, I would do those two things differently. Question 12. Do you have any regrets buying this new boat? Seems like you're doing everything but sailing. Nope, I knew going into it, this is the perfect boat. I couldn't have made a better decision than this boat. The reason I chose this boat is because it's the right boat for the job. And the problem is, when you're looking for a boat like this one, they typically have someone else's work on it. So you have to reverse, not only do you have to do the refit on it, you have to reverse engineer everything someone else has done. Nobody did anything to this boat. This boat it hardly sailed. It's the same as it was when it left the factory, essentially, with some age. And just a lot of the things I've had to do is simply just due to the age. And but that gives me a base platform to build off of. And I've got all the blueprints from the original wiring, so it's much easier to like build off of that than to try and deal with somebody else's work of art. You know what I mean? Where it makes sense to them, but it makes no sense to me. And no, I don't regret buying this boat at all. It is exactly, it's worked out really well. The infamous question, number 13. Why didn't you buy a boat that was already set up for circumnavigation instead of having to do such a big refit? So less than 200 people in all of human history have ever sailed around the world. That means there is no boat designed to sail around the world without stopping. So I have to build this boat to be capable of doing it. So I have no choice. I can't just go out and buy a boat ready to go. I have no choice. And even if I could, that would be, I think, lead to my failure, because I wouldn't know the boat. This boat now, I haven't even sailed it, and I know this boat intimately. I know every crevice, every corner. I know where every nut and bolt is on this boat, and that will be valuable when I'm sailing around the world. So it's there's two reasons, I guess. One, it's just simply not possible, and then the other one is you need to know your boat. And that is the most important thing. Sailing, in my opinion, sailing's easy. It's the endurance that's really hard. It's the things that fail, having a plan in place to repair the things, knowing how to repair the things, that are difficult. That is what ends voyages. Number 14. What has surprised you the most about the true cost, time required, the refitting? The cost of everything has surprised me. Like when I did my first refit on my other boat, I budgeted and planned for $7,000, and I went way over that. Ended up being like $30,000, and I had no money. I did all that on credit cards. But this one is it's the cost. I mean, it's just these little things, they add up like crazy. The wiring, the connections, all these little things are so expensive. And it's not, I knew it was going to be expensive, but I'm a little surprised how expensive it has become. It's been, it's been really expensive. It will probably be, the tower, the hard dodger, all of the stuff I've done to the boat, the hydrovane, the solar panels, every single connection and lug. I mean, it will probably be a little over like 100,000 for the cost of the refit of this boat. It's been insanely expensive. I don't like to tell people how much the refit costs, because I don't want to discourage people from buying a boat and sailing. 'Cause I'm obviously doing something crazy, so it requires a lot of resources. But you don't need to, like, 30,000's a lot, like for my last refit, but it's doable, for anybody. It like 30, if you put every single dollar towards, on a minimum wage job towards your boat and eat rice and beans and go to food banks to get your food. It's possible. You could do it. So I mean, I did it, and so I don't like to tell people how much this refit is costing because I just don't want to discourage people. But yeah, it's up there. Question 15: how do you know you'll have enough food to last you? I don't. It's one of those things I'm going to cross that bridge when I get there. But I do have a lot of stowage capabilities, so I think I'm just going to fill this boat up with food. It's going to be tools, supplies, and food. Like, it won't be, this whole area that I'm in here won't be like a livable space. It will be filled to the ceiling with food, basically. And then I'll eat my way through the boat. I don't want to run out of food. Jerome Rand ran out of food, and his account of running out of food sounds absolutely miserable, and I don't want to do that. For things like that, it's talking with people like Jerome Rand specifically that have done it before, talking with him, and what, so I can get an idea for what I need as far as food. Number 16, favorite freeze-dry meal. My favorite one, I don't remember the name of the company, but it's the chicken tikka masala. That one's my favorite. Number 17, will you be fishing for food? I don't like to fish, but I'll have all of the equipment to fish for food. And I imagine a few months in, I'll start to want something fresh. So probably. Number 18, this is something I thought about the other day. I just thought about it. How much toilet paper will you bring? I have no idea. I don't have a clue how much toilet paper you'd use in 8 months. I don't know. So that's a tricky one, because that would suck. That would really, really be a doozy to run out of toilet paper. So that's another thing I've got to ask Jerome and see what he says there, see what he did. Probably a lot. And it would suck if it got wet. Number 19, do you have a seawater purifier? How do you have fresh water on the boat? Yes, I installed, one of the tasks I've done for the refit on the hard here is installing a water maker. So I have a Spectra water maker. It's fully installed, should be working. I haven't been able to test it yet because I'm on the hard. But I will test it as soon as I go in the water. But that converts seawater to fresh drinking water. And then I'll also have 2 handheld water makers, which is like a pump that you sit there and you pump, and it takes forever to make water. But I'll have those in the event that fails. And then if those 2 fail, I'll have water. I'll be able to collect water when it rains, which is what they used to do. So collect water from like the sails and stuff when it rains. Number 20, if your water maker were to go out and water was a problem, how would you deal with that? I guess I kind of just answered that. I would collect it with rain. 21, do you handle saltwater corrosion? How do you handle saltwater corrosion along sail? I know, like, Jerome Rand used a lot of WD-40 because he was getting salt water on his engine, and so he was just coating it with WD-40. So I don't know, maybe something like that, and then just hoping that I don't know. That's a good question. In regards to the rigging and stuff, I think what I've heard people do is, which is something I should look into, is they'll melt beeswax on the standing rigging on the where the standing rigging goes into the turnbuckle, or into the what's it called? I can't remember the name, but where the standing rigging goes into, they'll melt beeswax in there, which essentially keeps it watertight. So maybe something like that. That's a good question. 22. What are you doing to prevent the batteries from overheating? Nothing. If the batteries start getting hot, there's something really bad. Something bad's happened. So the batteries shouldn't get hot. And yeah, in the event that they do, it's something's wrong. I think that question is, a lot of people are concerned about things overheating, like wires and stuff. Wires, same thing with the batteries. The wires shouldn't get hot. If they do, there is a serious problem. The only things that get really kind of hot is this battery charger that's underneath the seat here. That gets pretty hot. But I do have a plan to ventilate that better, because right now it's just in an enclosed, encapsulated place. So I do need to do some sort of ventilation fan system there. And then the Starlink gets surprisingly hot. But I don't think to the point where it's an issue. 23. How much more will your ship weigh after adding all of the equipment and gear, installing, and does that affect your sailing at all? As far as how much weight, there's the tower, an extra set of batteries. So without the boat being loaded down, I don't know, I've probably added like altogether 1,000 pounds or something, maybe. That won't. What will affect my sailing is when I leave, because the boat will be filled to the ceiling with gear, supplies, and food. So the boat will be sitting really low. But as I eat my way through the boat, essentially, it will get lighter. But no, it's a big boat, so like the weight I'm putting on the boat isn't going to make a dent. But when I leave, it will be sitting pretty low in the water. 24. Will you have the boat inspected by an expert before you set sail? No. That's the point of the sea trials and then the sea trials with Jerome. I mean, yeah, I suppose I will. Jerome will be on the boat and inspecting it. We're going to go sailing together, and he's going to advise me on what needs to change, what I need to do. But the point of the sea trials is to reveal, like, sea trials are more beneficial than like just hiring somebody to come and like inspect my boat. They're not going to for example, I had a survey done on the boat. I spent a lot of money on the survey to get done on the boat, and they didn't document basically anything. And I found one of the old batteries overheated, expanded, and then also I found a hose, a drain hose that goes through a through hole that was completely ripped in shreds, which could ultimately be something that could lead to a boat sinking. So like having someone else inspect it's different. Jerome and I will do a better job inspecting the boat simply because I'm going to be the one sailing the boat. You know what I mean? So I and then the sea trials will reveal all of the weaknesses. Should do. Number 25. Do you have a team watching 24 hours over your weather situation or routing? That's the plan. I don't really have one yet, but yeah, I'll have a weather person. That is, I've been talking to a few people that will potentially do that for me, because professional weather routing is a difficult thing to do. So I'd like to have somebody who's really good at it be my 24-hour watch, basically for weather routing. But ultimately, I need to be as proficient as I can in that department myself in the event that I completely lose all of my power. But yeah, I will have a shore team. Number 26, while on your trip, are you going to use Starlink or whatever you choose to be a 24-hour live feed? I don't know. I am going to be using Starlink. I will be filming, documenting it, and posting it. I haven't decided on the 24-hour live feed thing because I don't know. Starlink draws a lot of power, so that might not be very efficient. But it would be kind of cool to just have a camera on the tower facing like the sails and the sea, just running all the time. And that way too, nothing would be missed. There'd be no good stuff that would be missed. But I don't know. I've just been working on this refit and putting a camera there means I have to run one more wire through a place where there's absolutely no room for wires. But we'll see. 27, can you get airdrops on your journey? No, I don't think that would count for the unassisted part, or without resupply. But you never know. 28, what are you doing to prepare for the psychological toll of prolonged solitude? I think the refit in and of itself is a preparation. I'm alone all the time, 24/7 basically. And I've always done well alone. Um, so I just do well alone. That's part of the reason why I know I can do it. Is I'm pretty good at entertaining myself, and I'm happy with my own thoughts. So I'm not doing much. 29. What do you do for fun when not working on your boat? Also, same question for when you're out at sea. What will you do to relax during downtime? Right now, all I do is work on the boat. That's it. I guess that's kind of fun, when I'm out at sea. What I was doing when I sailed to Hawaii on my downtime was editing videos. And I kind of enjoy editing videos, my social media videos. I've been doing a terrible job now because I've just been so focused on this refit. But when I'm sailing, to me, editing videos is kind of like playing video games. So I kind of enjoy it. So that's what I'll probably do. 30. What do you think you'll miss the most when you're offshore for this long? My cat. I will miss my cat the most, without a doubt. And then second to that will be food. I like food, and I know the dehydrated foods will get old really quick. 31. What do you expect this circumnavigation to change about you? I don't know. Both of the refits and the circumnavigation, I think, will make me much more of a resilient person to adversities. I don't know. Well, time will tell. Number 32. What does your mom think about your plans? She's the reason I'm doing it. When I was in Hawaii, I was I knew my sail to Hawaii was hard on my mom. She did a great job of covering it up. Until I got to Hawaii, she unloaded and was she was so worried and all this stuff. And when I was really, really, really thinking about doing the circumnavigation, the only way I would do it is if I could get my mom to agree. If it was too hard for her, I wouldn't do it. So she came and visited me in Hawaii, and I asked her. I was like, so I laid it out for her. I was like, so I was thinking about sailing around the world without stopping, and I kind of explained to her what it means. And she responded, and she was like, "What sounds like?" She said it would be hard for her, but it sounds like you don't have a choice. It sounds like you have to do it, and that is when I made the decision. So shout out to my mom. She's a brave a brave mother, and I appreciate it. So thank you, Mom. Number 33. Is it difficult having a social life living on your boat? I don't have a social life at all. Living on a boat. I think living on a boat is a really social life. The marina is filled with people, and it's a very social environment. But doing what I'm trying to do, it's really, there's no social life. I completely isolate myself in order to get things done. Which is fine. I'm not it is what it is. It's just what it is. I'm just focused on this, and I don't want any kind of distractions. So number 34. Do you have a girlfriend or go on dates? Do girls hit on you when you go out? No, I don't have a girlfriend. I don't really go on dates. I don't have time for that, but I've met people and gone out with people. Not really gone out, but hung out and gone on a date once, basically, since I've been doing this refit. So, and do girls hit on you when you go out? No. People don't really the only people that recognize me is it's just a lot of moms, a lot of my internet moms. So that's my audience. So any girls my age, they don't recognize me, which is fine. And I prefer it that way. I just get recognized by all the mothers out there, which is fun. But anyways, 35. When you were in high school, could you have imagined this would be your calling? No, not at all. My dream was to be a firefighter. I'm not proud of this, but it is what it is. It's kind of what got me here. But I wanted to be a firefighter. I was doing like the internship program for Gresham Fire, and it was like my calling. It is what I wanted to do. And to become a firefighter, they have a very rigorous background check, and even if you have 3 speeding tickets, that can really go against your chances of becoming a firefighter, at least at the time. And when I was 18, I got a DUI, and I blew like a zero. I went to a friend's house. I had like 2 or 3 beers, and then drove home. And I wasn't like drunk, but I blew a 0.07, which is below the legal limit. But the problem was I was 18. I wasn't 21, so it's an automatic DUI, and that completely changed the course of my life. And because then I was like, there's no way I could be a firefighter with a DUI. So that is how I started working at Discount Tire, is because of that. And I had, like $10,000 in fees, so I had to make money. And so that's how I started working at Discount Tire. 36. Do you have any advice for younger people in their late teens, early 20s who want to escape the rat race like you did? Yeah, if I could go back in time, none of them are going to listen to me because I didn't listen to anybody. But if I could go back in time, I mean, it's just when you're that young, you can do anything. You could literally, like, my advice would be to take a globe and spin that globe and then point your finger somewhere and then buy a plane ticket, a one-way plane ticket, and go there and figure it out with no plan. And just do that. Just keep doing that. And through that process, I think you'll find out what life's all about, sort of thing. And just experiences. And you kind of figure it out along the way. A lot of the younger people like myself get trapped in this idea of the house and the white picket fence. And for some people, that might be their thing. And so go ahead and do that. But if that's not your thing, just go for it. And don't let like the pressures of... Because the reason that was my thing is because that was what was expected from me, from the world I live in. Everybody wants... It's expected to get the nice car, the house, the 2 golden retrievers running around, and the kids. And for me, that was never something I like truly wanted. I just thought I did because of like societal pressures, I suppose. Don't listen to those pressures. Listen to yourself, and you find out what you want. I think when you kind of just, and I think a part of the problem is younger people, they don't know what they want to do. So it's like, all right, well, don't waste $150,000 getting like a business degree in college. Instead, you've got time. Go spin that globe, point your finger somewhere, and fly to that place and go and experience life and how kind of the world works. 37. How do you finance the refit? Are you getting more sponsorships? The only way any of this is possible is because I went viral on social media selling to Hawaii, because I was dirt poor. I was in debt like $30,000. I was totally screwed. I was financially in ruins when I set sail from Oregon to Hawaii. And then I went viral, and it was like, oh my God. And then I got a bunch of sponsorship deals with like Elf Cosmetics was one of them, Friskies, and Microsoft. And I took those deals because I needed the money. And the only way any of this is possible is because of that, is those deals I took. And at the time, I had a GoFundMe up as well, and that I had the limit. I was like $30,000 in debt, and I had the limit set to $10,000. And I ended up getting $100,000 in my GoFundMe from you guys. So thank you. That was awesome, and that's helped a lot as well with this. But yeah, I'm affording this through brand deals and sponsorship, essentially. Which is, if you think about it, that's how anybody does it, except for Jerome Rand, which is what makes his sailing around the world without stopping so special. He did it without any sponsorship. He did it all on his own with a really tight budget, and that's what makes his voyage so incredibly awesome. Because anybody nowadays that does it, they do it in like $3 million boats, and they've got Rolex sponsorships and Rolex deals and all this stuff. and their boats are going like 30 miles per hour, where Jerome did it with an old boat, and I think he only had including the boat, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure including the boat, he only had $100,000 budget, and it took him like 5 years to do that. So I think that's an incredible feat. I don't know what the question was or if that answered it, but 38, what books or channels did you use to get a grip on electrical wiring, or what are the best resources to learn how to sail refit? So all of my wiring and electrical stuff, my dad is an electrical guru, and so I've learned everything from him, basically. And with all my electrical stuff, he's built these slides that I do. So basically, I call him, and we go over a slide for my battery, for example, and we go through the things that I need to do, and then I do it. And so that's how I and then of course this is my second refit, so through doing that I have learned a lot. If you think about it, I've only basically for the past 2 years of my life I've been doing refits on boats. So I'm getting all right at doing it. So. But yeah, all the electrical stuff I've learned through my dad. So shout out to my dad. 39. When is Jerome coming back to sail with you? When I'm done with the refit. As soon as I get the refit done, he's down to come out and we'll go sailing. 40. Does Phoenix sometimes climb off the boat and go play? Not really. On the hard, she's not gotten off the boat once. She just stays on the boat. On the dock, sometimes she'll jump off the dock, but she never goes further than like 2 boat lengths down. She stays pretty close, which is awesome. 41. Can we get an official vocal Phoenix meow live? We could try. It would just probably require me irritating her, but we can give it a shot. See if we can get her to meow. 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 Nope. Sorry, no meow. Number 42. Can you sing sea shanties? No, I don't like sea shanties. I hate sea shanties. I don't know why. I just don't like them. 43, haircut or no haircut? I'll probably cut my hair before I leave to have it about this short, because otherwise it'll drive me insane. 44, what are you going to do about the mermaids? The sirens call. Nothing. I don't believe in mermaids or sirens. 45, are there any superstitions you think about when sailing? No, I'm not superstitious. But like, I talk to the boat. I'll talk to the boat. And things like that. And, but no, I'm not superstitious. 46, how is your neck diagnosis progressing? Does it get worse with stress? I don't talk about my neck a lot because I don't like to give it. So like my neck, when I first got, so I got diagnosed. The reason I got diagnosed with Klippel-Feil syndrome is because I had neck pain. I had neck pain for a long time, and I just kept ignoring it because I don't like going to the doctor. And my neck hurt, and then finally it hurt enough to where I went to the doctor and to try and get it figured out. Discovered I had Klippel-Feil syndrome, and then my pain increased 150%. And for the following like year or two, I had really bad neck pain, and I discovered that I was creating my own pain with my own mind. And so I don't like giving it any attention. And I made a decision because I'm supposed to go in to the doctor to get MRIs and X-rays every month to monitor it, but that is incredibly expensive. And so I made a decision to I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to live life like I don't have an issue until the day that I can't. So I just go with it. But to answer the question, how is my neck diagnosis progressing? Does it get worse? It has days. Some days it hurts more than others. Sometimes when I'm in these weird angles on the boat, it can aggravate it. But I haven't been going to the doctor for it. I don't plan on it. And I'm just going to live like life like I don't have. There's certain things I can't like do, like I can't go skydiving because I would go paralyzed immediately from the whiplash. So there are things that, like, I'm not like destructively living life, you know. I'm not going to go skydiving, but I am going to live life like I don't have it until the day I can. And who knows, you know, that day might not come, you know. So there's no point in me sitting here thinking about it all the time and worrying about it. So I just don't like to give it attention for my own sake. Do you have ADHD? How does it affect your life? Yeah, I've got extremely high bouts of ADHD. There's a spectrum, and I'm on the far end of it, borderline autistic. And yeah, I'm sure it affects my life pretty. I'm sure it's the reason why I'm on a boat trying to sail around the world. Is because I have ADHD, and I did terrible in school. The only reason I graduated school is because one of my teachers went to bat for me because she felt bad. It literally came down to the last day if I was going to graduate. Because one of my teachers the grade that I needed was science, and my science teacher hated me, and tried to fail me by like 1 point, whatever it's called, 1 point, and then because of that I wouldn't have graduated. And one of my teachers was like, "This is bullshit. You need to just give him his degree so we can get out into world with the world with a diploma." And so that was the only reason I graduated. So shout out to that teacher, Miss Colbert. Thank you for that. I was also in special ed from first grade to senior in high school. I was in special education because I have all like the disabilities and things. I also have dysgraphia, which is like dyslexia for writing, essentially. So that's why my handwriting looks like a child wrote it. Number 48, with World War III looming and an impending oil crisis, are you prepared to pivot plans? No, I don't know. I'm just gonna go. If there's World War III happening, I'm just gonna go for it anyways. I don't know. I mean, if you think about it, this is the ultimate doomsday vehicle. So if nuclear war fallout happens, then yeah, I would detour and go to some island somewhere. I'd probably be in the best position if World War III broke out. I don't think any of these countries are worried about a little sailboat. And if they decide to fry me, that would just be unfortunate. Number 49, what daily rituals keep your passion alive? I don't really have any rituals. I just have a goal, and I just wake up and I keep doing the things. Getting things done keeps my passion alive. Encountering a hard project or an issue or something and then solving it keeps my passion alive. So that's the goal. Whatever happens, whatever comes up, solve that issue, move on. That's the recipe, I think. Number 50, will you have a send-off party with your family and friends before you leave? Probably. I don't know. Yeah, I think so. It would feel weird to do like a huge, big crowd send-off because like I could fail within the first like 2 weeks, and so that would just be weird. But probably, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it that much. But that was the last one. I don't know if that was entertaining or if I did any good there with those questions, but hopefully that was enjoyable. Thanks for watching. Sailing Phoenix is out.